Virtually and undoubtedly, all medical students and medical graduates who have sat for the USMLE Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3 have at a point in their prep used UWorld as a resource to help prep for their exams. UWorld meticulously and thoroughly helps build your knowledge based on 3-step and 2-step way of thinking and reasoning for the USMLE in a way that the NBME wants medical students to think on the exam and also in the clinic. Some also believe that UWorld has cured several cancers, and in the next video we are going to list those cancers that UWorld has cured. Now, if you are new to this channel, you are very much welcome. I want you to subscribe to this channel to help me to be able to make new videos to help other people to also learn something in build up to their step. So you subscribe and also you click on the bell so that any video that we post in the future, you have access to them. Also, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much for coming. All those who have commented on my video, thank you, and may God bless you for helping me to reach this far in my channel. When I was preparing for the USMLE Step 1, people suggested many resources. The gold standard is UWorld, First Aid, and Pathoma. But in this video, we will focus more on UWorld. We'll clear some misconceptions and also answer some questions that people have in their mind about how to use UWorld. Many people say read First Aid about 5 times, do UWorld about 2 times, and review your incorrect questions, and then you are going to ace the USMLE Step 1. But then other people also do these same things and then they end up failing. That's a harsh word, but not to scare you. People do this and it doesn't really work for them. What did they do wrong? Let's clear some misconceptions about this UWorld, how to use it to the best of my knowledge to be able to pass the USMLE steps. The first thing that we'll talk about is that people say you should repeat UWorld at least twice, as I've mentioned already, but some even go as far as repeating it about 3-4 times. But then repetition is not just what is going to make you pass the USMLE, but then when you are repeating the UWorld, are you repeating and increasing scores based on the fact that you have seen some of these questions before? That is what we want to avoid. We want to add knowledge to whatever we got from the first pass of the UWorld. We don't want to score higher based on the fact that we have seen these questions before. So what do we suggest that you do? What you should do is that when you do the first pass of UWorld, you want to get a buffer Q bank, a different Q bank that you can do in between to help you to be able to forget about the way UWorld framed its questions and also learn from that same Q bank in a different way from the way UWorld tested its contents. For example, you can do USMLE RX. You can also do AMBOS after doing your first pass, so that when you come back to UWorld later on, you are not going to feel that you are scoring high because you are repeating the UWorld. So if you give about 4 months interval between the first pass of UWorld and second pass of UWorld, then when you are doing the second pass and then you are scoring high, then it's most likely that you are really scoring because you've built knowledge. Now you are applying knowledge that you got from your first pass plus the second Q bank. Also at the same time, you are going to be doing first aid. So that means that any appreciation in your score is because of knowledge, but not because you have repeated the question. So this is very clear. The next thing that people say is begin UWorld at least a year before your exams. This is something that I would say it depends on you. Getting a 250 on step 1 comes with like application of knowledge on the USMLE exams. You want the USMLE test how you are able to apply this knowledge. Few of the questions may just be straightforward, the knowledge, but then most of the questions are based on applications. For example, when you are doing calculation and then biostats, and then you are asked about how to, for example, calculate the positive predictive value on the USMLE Step 1, they may not ask you to calculate the positive predictive value, but they will ask you how the positive predictive values will affect the research study, like that. So you want to really understand these terms before you sit for the step, and UWorld does a great job in preparing you for all these things. So UWorld helps you to really sharpen your brain in concerning pathophysiological principles, and it's not about like how long you have done UWorld. You can include UWorld in your studies for 2 years, for 3 years, for 5 years. If you are not extracting the info well enough to help you ace the exam, then you are not going to perform. That is how come some people do UWorld exam, UWorld QBank about 7 times and they still don't add to their scores. So what I want to tell you is that when you are doing UWorld, make sure that you position yourself in a way that when those same questions or principles are asked in a different question, in a different way, any way it's being asked, you can answer it. Like kind of when we relate it to math, if they say A plus B is equal to C, you should also know that A is equal to C minus B, like that. They can say find B, B is equal to C minus A. So you should be able to prepare your mind such that if they ask it in different way, left, right, center, top, you can be able to think around it. That is how we should do the UWorld. So doing UWorld is not just about like going to drink a lot of water or a lot of knowledge from this Q banks and then like come out and say, okay, I've learned it, but then how are you able to apply those knowledge? So introducing Q banks early, it's good enough in your studies, but again, I will say it's not about how long you've done it, and it should not just be UWorld. It can be other Q banks, other quality Q banks like Kaplan. Kaplan is equally good. Kaplan is good. Amboss is good. Some people just do this one. A friend of mine did only this one, med bullets, only med bullets, and scored a 238. So it's all about how you extract the information from these Q banks. How do you prepare for a question you have never seen before? Let's ask this question, or it's something that people ask. So let's say why I'm asking this is because on the USMLE Step 1, you are going to meet a lot of questions that you have never seen before. That's how come people go and come and say that they did not see things that they've learned. So you want to prepare in such a way that even if you've not seen the questions before, based on how you studied for your exam during your prep, you will be able to think around it, because the Q banks don't give direct questions that you will see in the exam, but they prepare you so that if the question is asked in any way, you will be able to answer it. So by practicing questions you've never seen before is one way to be able to answer questions that you have never seen before. Because in the exam, you will see questions that you've never seen before. How do you answer those questions? How are you able to prepare for questions that you've never seen before? Some people think that going into the exam, they are going to see questions verbatim from the UWorld. So they try to memorize every line of UWorld questions. It's not like that. You are not going to see that, I can assure you. You may see few of them, but it's even not going to be verbatim. It's going to be concept-wise. So in order to prepare for questions that you've never seen before, you want to do Q banks, more Q banks, not just UWorld. Add another Q bank, because the more Q banks that you do, that will mean that you are going to see more questions that you've never seen before. And if you're able to get those ones right, and then you are comfortable with those questions that you've never seen before, then on the real exam, you're not going to panic. It's going to be a mere formality for you. So please add another Q bank to UWorld to help you to supplement your prep effort. So that is what I'll say about that. The next thing that people say is that UWorld is most similar to the real exams. Now, I will say that if any two Q banks mimic the way that NBME wants us to think on the exams, then it's UWorld and Kaplan, these two. But on any day, I will choose UWorld. So yes, when people say UWorld is closer to the exams, I will choose UWorld. After my step, when I came back to UWorld, I could see that some of the questions, like I remember some of the answers were just in UWorld. I remember there was a particular questions about drugs, and then the arrangement of the answers on UWorld was also almost the same. So without thinking much, I just clicked the answer and I moved forward because I've seen almost the same thing before. So UWorld is more closer to the exams. Not necessarily the questions specifically, but how UWorld wants you to think, how UWorld explains its answers, how UWorld structures its questions. It's how the NBME structures the USMLE Step exam. So that is what I will say. I will always go for UWorld on any day because UWorld forces you to think like the way NBME wants you to think. Next thing is that some people come out and they'll say my test is nothing like UWorld. So why would some students say that? And some students will also come out and say my test is like UWorld, like I'm saying that my test is like UWorld. Some say that they prepared for the wrong exams, but some also come back and then they're like, well, I don't know what I'll get, but I think I'll pass. You see, so people come back with different feelings. So what I'll say that I think that it all depends on how you use your resources. So how much information did you extract from your resources? Two people can read the same questions, but somebody will extract about 10% of information from the question. Another person will extract 20%. Another person can extract like 50%. Others are able to extract as close as 80%. So find ways of extracting the information. Ask yourself, what does this question want me to know? Go back to the book and see other things that are related to this particular question. And that way you'll be able to get all the info necessary so that when NBME asks it in a different way, you will be able to answer it the way they want you to answer it. So for this, I'll ask you, how did you extract the information from your UWorld that you are doing? Are you focusing just on your scores? Like my UWorld scores are going up, I'm getting 75%, I'm getting 65%, I'm getting 90%. Is that what your focus is on? Or your focus is on what knowledge you are gaining from the question? So some people get frustrated when they are scoring low. But when I was at the latter stage of my prep, I was happy when I scored anything incorrect because it gave me the opportunity to go back and read that topic well. So yes, I was always happy. I'll tell my study partner, wow, I'm glad I got this wrong now than to go and get it wrong in the exams. Did you find better explanations to the questions that you got wrong? Because this is how you want to use the UWorld. UWorld gives you questions. Definitely you are scoring low because your knowledge is not at par with UWorld examiners. So if those same examiners explained the questions to you in the explanations of every answer and you still did not get it, did you go to another resource to find more explanations? Did you go to BNB to find more explanation? Did you go to Dr. Sattar in Pathoma to find better explanations? Did you go to Kaplan to find better explanations? You should not be lazy about finding more information. A time spent wisely in searching for more knowledge on something you don't understand is better than rejoicing over the correct things that you get. The correct questions that you get. Better find more info on things you don't know than celebrating your success on QBank, because that is not the way to go. The next thing I'll talk about now is people say UWorld is your USMLE prep. UWorld is equal to USMLE prep, the whole prep. You know what I'll say about that? This is no-brainer. This is a fact. It is true. I think all resources complement UWorld. So UWorld is the central dogma. Any other thing that you add to the UWorld is just complementing UWorld. UWorld is complete. It is something that if you studied well in med school, you can do only UWorld and pass. That's how come some US medical graduates can do only UWorld and come out with a good step 1 score. So UWorld is your USMLE prep. See UWorld as the prep, and then any other thing is supplementing. So if you use UWorld and you are not scoring well on UWorld, then you want to find other resources like Pathoma and BNB for explanation of whatever is on UWorld. I remember in cardiology, the Wigger diagrams was something that I've never seen before. I didn't even know where they came from. So what did I do? I went to BNB and learned it. And then when I learned the Wigger diagrams, I think in that week I was going to take NBME 16 also, in the old ones. And then what happened was that I got 100% in cardiology section in the NBME 16. So that is an evidence that when I went to find explanation to the Wigger diagrams that UWorld asked about, that increased my score, because NBME 16 had a lot of cardiology. I think about 10 questions on cardiology, and that helped me a lot. So find other resources to explain UWorld to you. Don't depend or rely only on the UWorld explanations, and then that is the end of story. No, find other resources to even explain further what UWorld has explained. The next thing I will talk about is that, do you just, some people say, do the UWorld just before your exams. Some people said, so in the first time we said, do UWorld early enough. Some people say just do it just before your exams and speed through it. It all depends on you. I'll say that. So this answer is non-specific. It depends on your belief. If you believe that the USMLE steps are testing on knowledge, then if they are testing on knowledge only, then doing UWorld just before your exams is the way to go. But if you also believe that they are testing on how to apply those knowledge, then you want to start UWorld early enough so that you can apply that knowledge, the knowledge on UWorld, over your study or your prep period, so that when you apply them several times, let's say for 1 year or for 6 months, you will be conversant with them, and then you'll be comfy. You will not be shaky when you see those kind of knowledge or those kind of questions. But what I will say is that you should learn to apply both of them. Learn to appreciate the knowledge and also learn to appreciate how to apply the knowledge, because both of them will go a long way to help you. In conclusion, what I'll say is that I know there will be yes, I know that some people will agree, some people will not agree with most of the things that I have said, but yes, I have said them, and UWorld is no doubt the best resource out there. Again, I repeat, UWorld is a central dogma, and all other resources are just complementing UWorld. When I began my prep, my belief was that UWorld is good, but then when I see difficult concepts, I wouldn't go and investigate the concept. I'll just read whatever UWorld had and then I'll move on. It did not help me. Also, when I was doing other resources, I thought they only wanted the knowledge. When I thought they only wanted the knowledge, that means that they only want you to have general overview, like not to know them into details, but just know that this exists, but not to know them into details. So that's what I was doing, and I did not see an improvement in my scores. But when I began to now look for how to apply the information and then started studying in that manner, my scores improved. So yes, when you treat your prep as looking for information and how to apply it, your scores will definitely increase. So thank you very much for taking time to listen to me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please just click the subscribe button, because I need this channel to go past 1,000 views. So anybody who watches this video, please just kindly, you are doing it for a brother, kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, just put a little comment over there, and I will see you again in the next video. Yes, you can do this. People have done it. You can do this. It may take longer time. It may take maybe some few months, but yes, eventually you will do it. Always remember quality over quantity. Thank you. Enjoy your studies and good luck. Peace out.